Hey everybody, this is Retro Challenge Gamer. So this level, as of right now, has only been cleared once. Attempted many times, but only beaten once as of this video. I guess I made it too convoluted and complex that most folks just couldn't figure it out. In this video, I'm going to be going over all the different puzzles, their solutions, and my reasoning for each. This honestly is a pretty good level in my opinion, and it just doesn't get enough screen time because it's probably too confusing. That and there is a pretty decently hard platforming section involving a hammer and a snake block that can be maddening for some. This was to be my last level made before I began working on my 40 level magnum opus Superworld, version 3.0 of Super Mario Maker 2. So without further ado, enjoy the video. So the level doesn't begin too crazy starting off. I mean, you just need to get through the first section with the big thwomp, which is your major point of interest right now, because all the arrows are pointing back to it that you need to come back here. But you just need to get to the first puzzle, the first thing you need to solve. And of course, that's through this pipe. So far the level isn't confusing, at least in my eyes. It's kind of straightforward. So you get to the second section, or the subworld if you will. Get your power-up that you may or may not need. This is more puzzle-oriented than combat-oriented, but yeah, you get to this room where, as you go through the doors, they start looking pretty darn similar. And you're wondering if you're repeating, but no, actually each room is separately, individually from each other. In fact, those coins, as you can see, were pointing up to where the arrow is, so it was your clue to actually use arrow as a marker to find that hidden block so you can go up and get the POW switch. So that's how you solve the first puzzle. Then here you kind of wait until the sound effect starts dialing up, like that, and then get on the thwomp and write it across. Now you could do that without getting hurt, I just didn't perform it very well. So now that you have access to a P-switch, now you can go back to the point of interest, which was the thwomp, and move on to the second section of the level. So overall, it was just a puzzle of observation. If you could see that the last room was different with the coins, then you could figure out the puzzle. This is another puzzle of observation, broken by a snake block platforming segment, just to kind of get your mind to forget what you just saw. You want to be very careful in observing that setup that was back there with the arrows and the mushroom that came out of the question block. That becomes super important in just a moment. And I'm performing this sequence pretty darn well. So I repeat and reverse the setup from before where you got the hammer. You go into this pipe thinking it'll lead you somewhere, and in fact it just leads you to a clue. It's like, hey, remember those arrows that pointed at nothing? They're actually pointing at a cowbell, but not there. They're pointing at a cowbell, a cat bell here, a hidden block right here. So the arrows are not there, obviously. You have to remember that they're there. See that? I just reversed it. And you have to realize that the arrows are pointing to an invisible block on the other side. So again, another thing of observation. Now, just imagine that I had hit that on-off switch one last time down there with the conveyor belts. The spikes would be out here, so you'd have to navigate these using Cat Mario. I ended up making it a lot easier on myself. And then here's the third and final section. Not so much a puzzle of observation, more just kind of figuring out the obstacles to get back to these thwomps, which again are a point of interest. So you gotta take the P-switch at least as close as you can to this side. And you only need one of these blocks, this one, to get you back. And just take that thwomp to the end, and you're basically home free. Just one last little surprise gotcha. Boom boom. Just kinda let him fall down. He's not an issue at all. And you've reached the end of the level. Not that bad. In fact, the first two puzzles were probably the worst. But I thought it was clever, some of the puzzle designs I put in this level. Now we get to the secrets of this confusing and complex level, and as always, the first one is at the beginning of the level straight up. And the only indicator is nothing for the blocks. Now, you're going to need this hammer for Builder Mario coming up. Do not lose it, because you will not get the hammer Mario until the second part of the stage anyway. Okay, there is a fire flower hidden there if you want, but you don't have to get it. Now, the second room of 3 repeats, before you get to the one with the coins that were pointing upwards towards the invisible block, you want to use Builder Mario, and that's the only way you're going to get that pink coin, is to create 2 blocks to jump off of. There's just no other way. Now, if you kept Builder Mario up to this point, you can use it to get an extra 1-up here. And then, of course, to get this pink coin, you're going to need to use some fancy footwork and have to maneuver around this Boo Ghost, and at this point, probably the Thwomp as well. So you got to be careful how you get back across from the pink coin. And at the midpoint, if you can avoid the Boo better than I did, you can find an extra 1-up here. Now, the snake block section has a couple secrets, and they are a little bit maddening to get. So I am showing you the most efficient way of getting all of them. So make sure you break the blocks before going after that 30. Try and race it all the way to the bottom here. And then ride out the snake block straight to your pink coin here. And that leads you straight into this snake block. And you're going to have to race it, because you need to catch it on the other end. That was tricky. Okay, this time the spikes are out. So I'll be showing it to it as it should have been shown and originally as intended. And I still mess up. That was a horrible performance, but hey, you get the idea. There's an extra 1-up here, just because. I'm going to show you a big coin, because it's just out of view unless you jump up to see it. And you're going to need the P-switch to get it. Now, I just hit that block because this is going to be an important one to get that final pink coin. So you're going to want to hit that, and this far one is the one you're going to need, and you're going to need to hit it just so that it kicks you up to the top, because otherwise you're never going to have enough time to grab that last coin. And you're going to have to ride the Thwomp down, pick up this one, and if you want that 30 coin, you kind of have to hop back and forth between the P blocks, which I did not do. Now if you get all the coins, you actually appear above Boom Boom's room. You can drop down below if you want to hop on his head, but you can just take the pipe and get an easy shot at the 1-up at the top of the goalpost. And that is how you beat Mansion of Spirits. I hope I illuminated some of the puzzles and confusing nature of this level for you. See you later.